recording. Okay, if somebody would look up Romans 12, 9 to 10.
I got it.
Okay, we could read that.
Romans 12, 9 to 10. Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection. Uh, uh, or, something, I can't read my own writing. Something one another in showing honor.
So these verses are about love. What definition of love do you think they're using here? What sort of love do you think they mean?
Love of, I think the love for Christ.
Agape love, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, possibly, because there are different Greek words. And often they do mean agape.
I think they're referring to the love that Jesus showed.
Yes, that's what I was saying too.
Yeah.
So caring for one another, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
so let's look at where Jesus talks about this love here. So let's look at John 21, 15 to 17, where Jesus is talking about love.
I've got that if you want me to read it.
Yeah, go ahead and read that.
So when they had eaten breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me more than these? He said to him, Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Said to him, Feed my lambs. Jesus said to him again a second time, Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me? And he said to him, Yes, Lord, you know I love you. And Jesus said to him, Tend my sheep. He said to him a third time, Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me? Peter was grieved because he had said to him a third time, Do you love me? And he said to him, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. And Jesus said to him, Tend my sheep. Is that the end, or do you want me to do another verse?
Yeah, that's the end. So this is Jesus. This is after Peter denied Jesus 3 times. So this is part of Jesus reestablishing the bond of him and Peter. It's about love, and it's also about how Peter, in the love of Christ, should show that to the other disciples as well, because he keeps saying, "Feed my sheep." So let's look at the love that God has for his sheep. So let's look at Psalm 23.
Can I just make a comment? I'm not sure I understood that. I think Jesus' sheep is more than just the other disciples. I think it's a whole,
all of us,
whole creation. But that's a bit.
Well,
much,
I mean,
but
it is, when we look at Psalm 23, it's clearly a general call to the nations.
Okay.
That
good.
Anybody want to read that?
Yeah, I got Psalm 23.
Okay,
thank you, Alex.
A Psalm of David. Do you want all 6 verses read?
Yes, we're gonna look at the whole psalm.
Okay. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for that thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Wow. Got to be St. James Version.
Yeah, it's King James.
So what do you think of this picture of the shepherd presented here?
Oh, yeah. He takes good care of, helping me. The thing about, well, leading me to lie down into still waters is just like, yes, breathing. So it's taken care of, and then leading us in paths of righteousness, getting to do the shepherd's work. But it's like the shepherd knows where you should go and what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
And there is a lot in this song about the shepherd directing you and telling you where to go and even forcing you there.
Yeah, it's obviously the sheep are very sheepish in
Yes.
this.
And they like this about the shepherd, even though we know from historical research that shepherd during this time period was a very motorcycle rider, gang member sort of picture for a lot of people. That it was an intimidating.
The shepherds were intimidating?
Yes, the same way we might say a cowboy could be intimidating in certain circumstances because they were supposed to be the rough, independent type who would not necessarily bow to rules of society.
Right. They slept out on the field with their sheep and things like that.
Wow.
They were a rougher breed. That's what you mean.
Yes.
I just did a unit on Argentina, and the gauchos are described exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
With the tough, rough cowboys who took care of things, the protective things.
Uh-huh.
Same kind of image, though. Backing up just one verse, I think it's Jesus is saying, serve. That's what tend my sheep, feed my lambs. It's all about serving. I think we just might be the lambs, but how does Jesus serve us? How does we serve each other? Is what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's both, isn't it? It's being served by God's Spirit or whatever, by life and creation, and also serving others, other people, other animals, other plants,
Yeah.
the earth.
Serve them up.
I don't feel like it intimidates you. I feel that you have the love also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned this during the pandemic. There was the statement, you're supposed to wash your hands, singing happy birthday twice. And I was like, I'm not singing happy birthday twice. And so then I started putting up on my mirror things that I had never quite memorized the 23rd Psalm. So I put it up on my mirror and memorized it. I can do that. Yeah, so that was
Much more
it was
reasonable.
helpful. And it is this leading beside still waters. Or
The phrase that caught you.
It's just very comfortable.
And makes me lie down. In other words, I don't have to just keep rush, work.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The
Slows you down.
Time for the sheep to lie down.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
exactly.
that term for makes. I left makes that somebody said had abuse at a time was talking about making me lie down feels very abusive. So it's like lets me lie down, helps me. Helps me to lie down. But I like your interpretation, Joan. It's like it's time to stop.
Yeah.
And there's also the question of whether he comforted me or his rod and his staff comfort me, which is, so rod and staff are elements of both protection and discipline for the sheep. So it's not just finding comfort in the shepherd, it's finding comfort in the discipline situation. And that is something that's like, okay, well, a little intimidating, but also I can see how doing that. But it would be very intimidating for me to expect other people to actually see me in that role.
Yeah.
I don't like in the sight of my enemies. It's like that's like it feels
That
That seems like
that
a
that
way to go
implies
there.
that he has orchestrated a battle, sort of, that you can be a victor in. Which, I mean, it's good that you're a victor, but why did we have to have a battle in the first place?
Yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
wow.
You know, sometimes I'd rather have the battle take place off stage somewhere and
Yeah.
then, you know, come to the peace conference celebration and have the victory dinner there and not have to be present at the battle at all. That
Yes.
might be more comfortable. So there was this thing, okay, how can we reconcile this with this love being genuine that will feed one another and be that,
Sure.
because I don't think God is necessarily saying that we need to have battles so that the people we're supporting can be victorious. I don't think that needs to happen. I think we can just go ahead and say, look, there is a human instinct for justice to have taken place. But sometimes we need to move beyond that and say, look, we can still have a peace and victory celebration, even if we're not going to smush the other person.
Yeah.
And just say, look, the important thing is that everybody gets fed. So having the banquet is the important part, not that somebody got smushed or stepped on
Yeah.
in victory.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
If we could get to the place where we can put on a feast for everyone, that's fine.
Yeah.
I do see that. Well, we can feed the sheep in that way. Though I do think there is an option for people to say, look, I do not want to be Jesus' sheep. Jesus gives me the ick. I'm not doing that.
Mm.
I mean, I might say, look, signing up for an eternity as a bride of Christ, that seems fine. I like the guy. Go ahead, sign me up for that. I will do that. But if somebody else says, no bride of Christ for me, I do not want that. They do get to say no, and God will let them say no and opt out and not have to be part of Jesus' sheep if they don't want.
Interesting. I think it's interesting that there's both reference to taking care of the body with water and, grass in this case, but as well as the soul, the spiritual part. That's interesting to me. And I guess a good disciple would nurture other souls and could help restore their soul and when they needed that kind of support. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So this idea of agape is something that builds you up. Yes, physically feeding your body helps your body grow and heal and develop naturally. But there's also this idea that agape also wants to develop your soul, so your talents and your gifts can come out and be useful and recognized in the world also.
Good.
I think it does incorporate both aspects that, look, as you're feeding somebody, you're allowing them the space to grow that they need to be the best version of themselves.
I think the best version of themselves. I think that's a really good. We're working toward what is God calling me to? How am I? How can I be the best version of myself? I like that. That I've heard that best version of myself before. I like that.
Because this idea, okay, an acorn's best version of itself is to grow into the oak. That's its natural pattern. And at the same time, if you have a baby, their natural pattern is to grow into an adult human. And as you raise a child, that's what you're expecting. You're expecting at some point an adult human, and you're trying to enable them to grow into agency in that sort of way so that they can become a good adult human and look at what are their natural talents so they can have those talents to use and make their way in the world with whatever they naturally are able to be good at.
He's been discovering what he's good at. Desmond Tutu used to say, "What makes your heart sing?"
Right. That's a guy that spent a lot of time in prison, so man.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's also Archbishop in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So we
That's
still go back to verse 9 where we would abhor what is evil and cling to what is good as part of how we love one another and encourage one another to do these things. So, and we also see in verse 10, anticipate one another in doing honor, in recognizing what sort of talents and good other people have so that we can recognize that and honor that. So encourage that and grow that in other people.
Yeah, recognize other people seeing us as valuable and reaching out to them as being valuable. Love one another with mutual affection. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And show honor to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And give preference to one another. You know, you don't always have to have your way. Somebody else have their way.